Hey, it's Uppity Unicorn, and I am here to, humble myself a bit because I'm very much pro Black woman and I'm very much non patriarchal religion or patriarchy, period. Um, However, in my womanness, in my seeking the face of the goddess, I feel like I need to say, like, especially to the men of my own ethnic national group, you have never not been needed. You have never, ever, at any point, not been needed. We have always needed you. We will always need you. The whole I don't need a man type thing is not about you being useless as a man. It's about a certain type of man, a failure to launch, who is more of a burden than he is a blessing or a leader, thus and so. But as far as, I talk so much about the divine feminine on my channel, but best believe the divine masculine is the yin to the yang. Like actually that's what yin and yang mean. That light and dark, that white and dark, that start and stop, uh that whole yin yang little sign that comes from like ancient Asian culture. Like that's what it is. It's divine masculine and divine feminine working together. And you see within them, they have each other's color. Actually, I could just bring up a yin yang sign right now so you can see what I'm talking about. I don't want to confuse you due to my lack of being descriptive. Yin yang symbol. I know black people, we used to think it was called yin yang in the 90s, but here it is right now. And I'm saying this just to set up my conversation in terms of like, I listen, we've never not needed you. These things have to exist together, not in their corruption, but in their divinity. Just like you don't need a corrupt black woman who is trapping you with kids, who is, doing all kinds of unfair things to you, we also don't need a toxic male, let's say the same thing, trapping us with kids, being abusive, X, Y, and Z. As yin and yang symbol, a circle divided by an S shaped line into a dark and light segment, representing respectively yin and yang, each containing a seed of the other. Yang also, or positive, Lord have mercy. Okay, so this says positive male genitals, right? It's gonna give you a description, negative female genitals, blah blah blah. And the dark side is the feminine and the white side is the masculine, but you see both sides have a piece of the other inside. So when people say things like I want my woman to be 100% feminine, she would be imbalanced as a human being. When women say, I want my man to be 100% masculine, he would be imbalanced as a human being. You should be majority masculine, but still in touch with your feminine side, just like this black dot exists in this white circle. And you should have some kind of masculine strength about yourself, but in the minority, let's say 80-20, right? Hell, 90-10, somewhere around there are what these percentages should look like. So this thing we've been getting tattooed all over our body for I don't know how many decades. This is a symbol of, look, order and chaos constitute the stage. All right, so yang, that's the white side, that's the male side. Order, masculinity, day, the known, authoritarianism. Well, I'm going to leave out fascism. The unknown, the darker side, yin, chaos, femininity, night, the unknown, decadence. And I'm going to leave off both negative words here, but you get what I'm trying to say. So I just want to be clear here. You have always been needed. You have never not been needed. Part of the masculinization of Black women came from how much she thought and she thinks she needs you. When you think of all the Black women who started keeping their Black men in the house during so many lynching campaigns, right? Because Black men were the target. It's not that Black women and babies were not being lynched, is that you were the target and you were more likely to be targeted than us. So we started saying, We don't want you outside after night. Don't worry, I'll go get it. It's fine. I'll do it." Right? Now that has evolved into something in present day where the men are dissatisfied, and I'm not going to comment on that because I sincerely think gender war content is brain rot content. And it is such a waste of valuable time that stops for nothing. That stops for nothing. So I'm going to bring up a couple of conversations that I feel the Black American man is heavily needed in his representation, his thoughts, his opinion. Because I'm not going to say every Black man with a microphone is a loser. Like, sure, we got some raggedy, gender war content creators or whatever. But when it comes to the Deontay Kyles of the world, there's so much success for Deontay Kyle because he's so necessary. And he's a very famous TikTok personality. He just did a show with Kev on stage. He is also the kind of black man who is sorely needed. Okay. So that was Kev on stage and Deontay Kyle. You can go look at them and study their archetypes and see, oh, this is what uppity meant. But there are conversations. Here's one. The African Union. The African Union that is so called, hear me out. Let me set this out. Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, the one we respect, the one who's redeeming his nation, the one who is making sure Burkina Faso is for its people and run by its people and owned by its people, the one who's making sure that black nation has dignity and pride and is not taking it up the rear end from the white power structure, from the Western powers that be, he disdains and rebukes the African Union because the African Union representatives are corrupted. They're corrupted. They are corrupt. And it's funny because both leaders I have encountered of the African Union are both Nigerian. And Ghana is in a place right here, right now, where they are begging Nigeria to leave their country. Ghana is desperate for Nigerians to get out of their country. Lots of people on the west coast of Africa, all of a sudden they woke up one day, they went to sleep making fun of black Americans. You Akata, you tree with no roots, you have no culture, you're stupid and lost and ignorant and inferior. And then they woke up the next day like, hey, like a bunch of tethers. Like, hey, your culture is our culture because we're the original Africans. So everything you do, we own. It's our culture, not yours. You don't have a culture on your own. Blah, 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 blah. Like weird shit. So, and there your comment is on the screen. Hello, the cynical one. So I will go on ahead and remove this from the screen. I just wanted to set that out really quickly. Like the divine balance of the earth is masculine and feminine. It's not all feminine, it's not all masculine. Both are required for balance. So now I will get into my next screen where I share with you what the danger is with this African Union. These people are after our reparations. They are after our reparations and they have colluded with the Democratic Party. Joe Biden and all of them colluded with them to put our reparations and to redirect our 1.7 trillion spending power to the continent. Mind you, we're still somewhere trying to take care of ourselves. We're still somewhere trying to guarantee our own safety. We're still somewhere trying to climb up out of the ghetto and police brutality and whatever else. Yes, Black Americans are the richest people with majority African descent on the face of the planet. But when you think of why the African Union did this, right? Because when they made us the sixth region, we thought it was just an acknowledgement. We thought it was like a sweet acknowledgement. No, no. It's about taking your money. It's about, like, I hate to say it, but like, especially because Nigerians can be so hateful. They're the ones who call us Akata, right? That the literal definition of Akata is stray cat, but the contextual meaning of it is nigger. Hardy are. So, what is going on is that the people who bought and sold us are trying to buy and sell us again. That is what's going on with the African Union. That is why Akon tried to get you to bring your Black American ass to Ghana and his futuristic city that failed so bad. Ghana took all that land back. It was supposed to look like Chongqing, China. It was supposed to look like Chengdu, China, with all these lights and all these 300-mile-an-hour bullet trains and whatnot. And it just looks like herds and plains, just bad, just herds and plains of grass. Took all this money, telling, begging you to come back to Africa, and all the while Akon was dissing us. Oh, Black Americans, they sag their pants. They get up at 10 a.m. We Africans, we move different. We get up early. We dress right. We Yeah, okay. And you want us to come and be with you while you're insulting us? What in the toxic hell? What in the narcissistic fuck? What would make you think mentally abusing us is going to make us want to be with you? We, especially millennials and Gen Z, we are cutting off family members who are toxic. What makes you think that we won't cut off a foreign culture unbeknownst to us for being toxic? This is Jassy Reloaded. Shout out to her because actually this isn't even her channel. This is Virgo Vindicated because Jazzy Reloaded Uncensored was hidden by TikTok for some odd reason. She didn't have any strikes. She didn't have any violations. She just woke up and couldn't get into her channel one day. But she's been having conversations that I've been loving to see the Black American men, the descendants of chattel slavery in America, pick up this conversation and run with it, touch down with it, drive the message home. A lot of us didn't even know this until Jazzy said something. We had no idea what was being done. But dead ass, the African Union and the Democratic Party with Biden in tow, it's all about, that's what the Essence Fest was about. That's, you got your first look because this was decided, early 2000s they've been doing this, right? Over a decade ago they were doing this. But the Essence Fest, the way that it went, like, haha, it's African now, respect your roots, we're the originators, we're the people who, you don't have no culture, everything you make is ours. You're us and we're you now, right? The people who denigrated us for so many decades, the people whose parents taught them growing up, do not think you can be friends with these Black Americans. Avoid these Black Americans. They're immoral, they're ignorant, they're nasty, they're corrupted, they're subpar, subhumans. Now they want to be us. Now they see Beyonce's name in lights and they want to lay claim to it. Now they see Kendrick Lamar got the whole world saying they not like us and they want to be part of it. Well, we're all black. Well, we're all black. I remember growing up. I remember in my young adulthood, forget growing up, forget grade school. I remember in my young adulthood, I couldn't even call you people black. Back when I was a Pan Africanist, and I learned in the hardest way to give up Pan Africanism because of the Africans are not even Pan themselves. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Put an Ethiopian and a Somali in a room and look at what you get. Put Somalis in the same room, but one is from the Isaac clan, one is from the Mijaratan Qabil, one is Madiban, and one is Hawiye. Put all those tribes in the same room and see what you get. I've had to leave Isaac restaurants with my Hawiye Somali. All of them are Somali, probably one of the most homogenous people on earth. Had to leave with her in my arms crying because of the way they were talking about Hawiyes, how they look like apes, and how this kind of beauty doesn't exist for a Hawiye whose ancestral lands are Mogadishu. That's another thing. A lot of these Africans and Caribbeans, they think that we have no international knowledge. They think that everything is new to us, and I'm just like, baby, we've been doing this. We are the ones who are traveling across the world and going to the Fort of Elmina in Ghana. Like we're not new to this. We I think some of us are in shock at the level of hatred that we've received and isolation that we've received. We get beat up on by the diaspora. We get beat up on by these people. Everybody says it's a diaspora war. No, it's a diaspora fucking genocide. It's a cultural genocide. Just trying to eat black Americans and own everything that we are and take everything that we are and lay claim to everything that we are. The black American doesn't do that to the Jamaican. You see how they did Essence Fest, how they took it and centered themselves and made it, African night, a 3-day African weekend, big ass battle of jollof rice and jambalaya, just insulting shit. But see, when we go to Carnival, when we go to Juve, we just celebrate we just celebrate the Caribbeans. We just at that wine our waist and dirty wine. Like we just let y'all do you, and we happy for you without expecting to be represented. We don't expect you to play hip hop there. We expect you to play reggae. We expect you to play raga. We expect you to play Afro beats. We expect you to play amapiano. Like we're not expecting hip hop R&B. We're not expecting rock and roll, jazz, gospel, country. Like we're not expecting any of our creations to take front and center stage. But whenever they get with us, that's what they do. They push us out of the way in our own home. I dare you right now to go to any African country you can think of. Go to Uganda, Zanzibar, Tanzania, go to Soweto, Lesotho, South Africa, Benin, Togo, uh, um, hell, Senegal, Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire. Go to the Democratic of the Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Go to Mauritania, Morocco, Libya. See if you can go there and insult the natives. See if you can go there and talk down to the citizens of that country, to the people whose ancestors built that country. See if you can drag them by their culture and insult them and walk away with your life. But they freely come to America and pull this bullshit. And hear me out because these are generalities, not all, but I feel like not all should be implied when you're speaking in generalities. The way that they were raised, don't talk to these African Americans, excuse me, now we got to say black American because they've taken over the word African American, right? Now Elon Musk is African American. Now, Zohar Zoran Mamdani is African American with good reason. With good reason. I'm not mad about it. It just is what it is because I'm just like this Asian man or Indian man who is running for mayor of New York. He's from Uganda. That's African, and then he was an African national, and then he moved to America and got American. That's African American. We don't have an ancestor that's seen any part of the shore of Africa in 400 years. We have European ancestry as Black Americans, even if you have two Black parents and two Black sets of grandparents. We've got a European ancestry. We're not claiming Europe. We take DNA tests and we find the Irish and the British and the German and the French all over ourselves. DNA tests, we find out we're American Aborigines, we're Washita, we're Choctaw, Chickasaw, Yamasee, descendants of Olmecs. Yes, Olmecs were absorbed and absorbed and absorbed, and identities were moved and recreated until you get these 5 civilized tribes. The only ones America, feels like they have to recognize, whatever. But all of that is you. So your lineage is unique unto yourself. You are your own people group. And I said it to the Africans like this: why would we have to claim African countries we can't even name? Right? Because I can name my indigenous ancestry. Unfortunately, my black ass can name my Irish ancestry. I know there's African there, but I can't put a name to it. The only thing I know for sure as an influence is Yoruba because I'm from Louisiana and it's hoodoo all day and all night, right? It's Orisha and Loa all day and all night. So that happens. I know where that influence comes from. But as far as like anything else, I'm like, I couldn't tell you. And a lot of these DNA tests, I mean, you should look at the way the scientific and the genetic community talk about these tests. They're like, these tests are a joke. They're a joke. All they can do is tell you about who's there now and that you bear some kind of a similitude to them. Black Americans take DNA tests and they don't even help because we find the whole map lit up. It's lit up in America. It's lit up in South America. It's lit up in Africa. It's lit up in, man. My DNA test went all the way to Indonesia and China and Cambodia, Myanmar, Burma, India. And I'm like, bro, spare me. This test is frustrating. All I need to know is that I'm a Black American. All I need to know is that I'm a Malcolm X ass, Beyonce ass, Michael Jackson ass, Kendrick Lamar ass. That's my tribe. That's all I need to know. And what we already know about our subgroups: Louisiana Creole, Black American, a Gullah, Geechee, Black American, a Delta Black American. That's all we need. We don't need to go. Imagine this. They're telling us we need to go 400, go centuries back to claim a continent or a country on a continent when Eritrea is not even 40 years old. When I was an undergrad and I was getting my ass handed to me for having no culture by all these East Africans, especially the Habesha people, when I found out about the wars in Eritrea and how it became Eritrea and no longer part of Ethiopia, I was like, you mean to tell me your country is so young, if it was personified, it couldn't buy a drink at a bar? When I was an undergrad, Eritrea wasn't old enough as a country to buy itself a drink. But you don't ever tell an Eritrean, well, you need to call yourself Ethiopian because these are your roots. Those are their recent roots. We don't say to people from Djibouti, what you need to do is call yourself Somali. See if you don't get in a fight with a person from Djibouti telling them they need to really be calling themselves Somali because, oh, it's a broken part of, it used to be Somalia. They're like, no, we're our own people, we're our own nation, we're our own ethnic group. Like screw you. We don't have to do nothing. So back to Eritrea. If Eritrea is younger than 40 damn years old, Eritrea not even a millennial. Would they qualify? They might be something between elder Gen Z and younger millennial. Not even 40 years old at a country. Don't have to call themselves Ethiopian. Why would we have to call ourselves Burundian, Malian, or wherever, whatever empires that dragged our people from all over Africa and pushed us out to the West Coast to be sold? And these people are seeking reparations. Your reparations. They're seeking reparations for the slave trade. Bitch, you got paid already. And I hate to get ugly like this. This is why we need these strong Black men having these conversations and put on game to talk for us so we don't have to do all this and get out of character and become what you don't like to see from us. There are so many men who come to my channel like, uppity, you better than that. Why you sound ghetto? Why you doing all that cussing? Like you wasn't like this when you started out. I've been getting angry. I've been getting angry and offended and walked on and imitated and I can't, getting upset. But they want you to be African so bad. There's literally a debate on TikTok right now with all these Africans saying you can't tell an African apart from a Black American. Who can't? You mean to tell me I can't tell myself from a Somali? You mean to tell me I would confuse myself? I can't even confuse myself with a Haitian. And they're closer. Now, because of my specific look, and this is a picture of me unfiltered. I'm not that light, but if you look at my shoulder, you can see my real color. Hell, the flash is just too light. I can be confused with a number of Black ethnic groups. Okay. But in general, Black Americans don't really have, how do I say this? We don't have a specific look, but we look like us. Does that make sense? Because I mean, Most African Americans do not look like Somalis. P. Diddy, what he look like? A Somali. What his kids look like? Or his twins? Somali. But in general, we look like us. I can always tell, like even if there's a what is it, a Sierra Leonean man who cosplays Black Americans, he wears do rags and ain't never got no fucking waves in his life. He wear the denim jeans and the jerseys and the retro Jordans, whatever it is. And Tamara, here's the deal. I think it's both, Tamara. I think it's both. I think what you're saying is facts. It's like we have our own look. Nobody looks like us, but also we don't have a specific look. There are African Americans, people always roll up on us saying, "What are you mixed with?" I'm like, this is what nigga looks like. No, you don't look like a regular Black American. What does a regular Black American look like? Me and my siblings can stand in a room. I mean, we're all different colors. So I got bushy eyebrows. My little brother got bushy eyebrows. My older sisters have thin eyebrows. Thin, beautiful, perfect shit that they don't even have to pluck or wax or get threaded like I do. My sister got a button nose. It's so cute. I got a big, wide, flat bell pepper Michael Jackson Negro nose with Jackson 5 nostrils. What do we look like? For you to be saying, because I found out later that it's a compliment. It's a compliment in African communities to say, "Oh, I thought you were American. You look American." And us Black Americans went over there dead ass, just blue, just green to the blue, just green to the conversation. Like I would never mistake you for one of us. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, you talking like us. Yeah, you walking like us. Yeah, you rapping like us. Like we don't look like you. You know that fine ass man from the UK who's with Tiana Taylor. He does things to me. I forgot his name. Oh, Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Yes, that is Mufasa, and he is fine, 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 fine. But I've never mistaken him for a Black American, even though he's technically mixed. And he's so light skinned and so mixed, and he got green eyes. I'm like, well, that don't make a nigga. It's something about your angles. It's something about the way you look. You don't look like John Tavius. You don't look like Darren and Derek and Daquan. Like you don't look like Tyrone. I don't know you. I don't know you. And I don't know how to say it, but I could just kind of look at the man and I'm just like, he not like us. Beautiful, but he not us. Exactly. 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 Not. And it's crazy because people say when the Black American descendant from chattel slavery looks at the African and says, "You don't look like us." You I could confuse you with a Caribbean. I could confuse you with a Trini, somebody from Trinidad and Tobago, from Turks and Caicos, from insert island, from Jamaica, from Haiti, from maybe Dominica. You don't look like us. They get so mad. And I'm like, why are you mad? Because I'm going to tell the white guy the same thing who thinks he's white chocolate. I'm going to tell the Asian girl who grew up in the Black community and talks with a Black accent the same thing. Like, I could not confuse you for us. And it's the same thing with mixed people. I mean, sometimes biracial Black Americans, they think they're passing, and I'm just like, if you don't get them nigga cheekbones out my face with that shit, go away from me with that, Apollo. You was a whole Negro, and it's crazy because I can see, let's say some Gambian man is with a white woman and his kid comes out mixed. The kid looks like Jadena, and I'm like, you don't look like us. There is a woman who is a UK actress, and I keep forgetting her name, but she looks something like me. When I tell you that woman is biracial, I'm like, she just looked like a light skinned Black girl. But the woman is biracial. I'm like, our biracials don't look like that. Our biracials look ambiguous as shit. They look like I'm every woman. I'm every culture. Like our biracials don't look like that because our bloodline is different. And they're trying to claim everything we are because they know we are owed America itself. They know we are owed the United States itself. And it's a big ass money grab. These are the same people who are just like, you guys are ignorant and you don't know anything. You're uneducated. You're ghetto. Your culture is baby mama. Who wants to be like you? And all of a sudden, you're offended when we say you don't look like us. You're offended when we say you don't get no reparations. What was taken from you, you sold. It wasn't taken. There was an exchange. And they'll be online mad at us because we say that we can tell ourselves apart from you. And I think that goes without saying because it's some black people who I'm from Seattle and it's a very Asian place, so I can tell my Asians apart, okay? Asians are not a minority in Seattle. So when I tell you I can tell a Laotian from a Vietnamese, from a Chinese, from a Japanese, from Filipino, they look very different to me. And I used to push my luck all the time. I used to, oh, you're Asian with a Spanish name. You Filipino? They crack up laughing. How you know? I mean, you guys is the Jorges and the Estebans of Asia, nigga. Like, what the hell? You know? And they're typically a lot darker than, let's say, a Chinese person. Are there native Chinese who smaller ethnic groups that are blacker than the blackest African American you've ever seen? Sure. But we're talking about what exists in general, right? And they're mad at us for saying we can tell the difference. Like, no, I get mistaken for an African American all the time. Y'all are bullshitting me. I get mistaken as Black American all the time. I'm like, because you're cosplaying us. You got mistaken for us by who? Because not a nigga. You got mistaken as us by a white person, an Asian person, an Arab, a Jamaican, or whoever. Not by us. It's just something about the facial structure. Because Black Americans we have every feature. I met a biracial Black American woman whose hair was straight. She didn't have a kink or a curl or even a wave, just straight hair. And some of her kids had straight hair. Flat iron you for what? Get up out of my chair. Cornrow your hair how? It's just going to slip away. This every feature, but there was something in her face to where, people would be like, oh, she looks white. She looks white. I'm looking at her. I'm like, no, I see nigga cheekbones. Y'all tripping. I see a nigga forehead. I see nigga eye placement. I don't know, but you can tell. And also, I should say I've studied anthropology. I studied anthropology in undergrad. So I paid attention to carbon dating and bone structures and skull sizes and features. And that's how when you die and you're nothing but bones, somebody can still discover who you were, how old you were, what ethnicity you were by what your bones look like. By what your bones look like. So I'm looking how these people's faces is set. And I'm like, I see how you could fool a white person into thinking you're white passing. But that's why every time you get near a black person, you get nervous because you know that we know niggas. You know that we know us. You can fool the rest of the world. We know exactly what you are because we know ourselves. And I don't think there's anything insulting about that. But I thank you for saying this, Tamara, because honestly, I'm like, we saying that you don't look like us and that we can tell us apart, it should never be interpreted as some kind of disrespect or belittling because that Aaron Pierre is fine. Ha, ha. Oh shit. His voice. Help. Help. But nah, I immediately, and he danced like a kappa. Like he danced so light skinned. You see him coming through that Jennifer Hudson spirit tunnel and all them little he looked like a kappa strolling. But very much. Aha. Taste the soup. Aha. It's like saying that we can't tell, how Eddie Murphy paints himself up in a bunch of different colors and genders and plays all these different people. And it's just like, we know this Eddie. We might have been confused as kids watching Coming to America, but grown up, we know this Eddie and Arsenio. Who you playing with? We just kind of know. Oh, he takes me. Oh my God. I saw him kiss Tiana Taylor one time and he grabbed her by the throat and I think my eyes rolled back in my head. Uh the electricity, the the electricity that goes through my body. Good God. Good good Lord. I am rambling, and because I know I can ramble, I'm gonna go ahead and play this because this is part of the reason I'm saying, like, black men, like, we need you in other conversations. Like, Kevin Samuels did the hell out of the gender war. Can you please come over here now? Everything that you want to say on a podcast about black women has already been said by Fresh and Fit. Can you please come over here now? Because we need your voice here. We need you to tell these people to back up off us. We need you to go and tell these people, nah, the whole world sings They Not Like Us and don't even realize who the song is about. That ain't no Pan-African song. That ain't no everybody black song. And just because it ain't don't mean it's xenophobic. It don't mean it's racist. It don't mean it's wrong. Everybody sings about their own people. He said, "Let me put y'all on game. Something, something. We was slaves and we was all in chains." Is that your history or mine? Because I could have sworn I saw a Nigerian get on TikTok and say, "Hey, we are not the same. Or we are not. No, they came on chains. We came on planes. See, there's talking about a difference in trying to drag our ancestors, And now you want to unite with the African Union and you want to get on reparations and you want reparations to go to Africa? The African Union and Joe Biden are out here trying to God damn it, the same people who bought us and sold us are trying to buy and sell us again. And when we create a boundary and say, no, this is that Black American culture, I'm going to need you to understand what that do-rag is. I'm going to need you to understand what these bamboo earrings, at least two pair, what denim. Do you guys know that denim was first called Negro cloth because these slave masters wouldn't give us clothes? They might give you a hand-me-down or something like that and expect you to wear it and air it. And between the niggas on a cotton plantation and the niggas and I have to say nigga because nigga is the only time they know who the fuck we talking about. We say foundational Black American, we say FBA, we say ADOS, we say African American, we say Black American, but they want to claim all these things. They're not claiming FBA, they're mad at FBA, but I'm just saying, whenever we say niggas, they know exactly who the fuck they want to say the N word, but if you're talking about niggas, they know you're not talking about them. Niggas on cotton plantations and indigo plantations mixed that shit together and made what? Denim. We are the inventors of the most American look you can conjure. Denim jeans. How are you going to sit there in denim jeans and tell me I don't have a culture? We created a look that never existed before us. Jeans never existed until the plantation. And white people would mock us for having on them clothes, and the clothes were designated as, that's slave shit. But you know what we are? Swaggy as fucking hell. It don't make no goddamn sense. Swaggy as hell. What is it? Kendra said you can fake whatever, but you can't fake influence. And now, they would call us cowboys to mock us. Get in there, boy. That's a stable boy. That's a cowboy. That's a field boy. That's a, boy as a slur. But we made that shit look so good. All of a sudden, everybody want to be a fucking cowboy to the point where there was the Compton Cowboys, black cowboys riding their horses, and some white woman's like, well, what is that? I didn't understand. And the black girl behind her like, those are cowboys. Doesn't look like a cowboy to me. Why? Because he's not white. Did you forget how we got the term cowboy? All these words, so many of these words that people want to be now. I'm like, they started here on us as derogatory terms towards us. And now everybody want to be down. And it's a shock to Black Americans. We're in shock. We're in shock that people who insult us, I mean, the Essence Fest, the people who ran it, it was such an insult. It was heartbreaking. I cried. I grew up on Essence. I grew up on Jet. I grew up on Ebony. Essence is 55 fucking years old. The better part of half a century. And then you shut down my people. They shut down the local businesses in New Orleans because they want to make sure you shop with them. How you gonna take money out of the mouth of the natives of the people whose culture you're like? What? You gonna shut down my people with an event that's supposed to be for my people and promote your people? Eat a dick. Where is that ever okay? I dare a black American to try that shit in Africa and see if you leave with your life. Matter of fact, I don't dare you to do it because I know exactly what would happen because I've been up and through Africa. I've been there. I've been. And nobody it was two reactions. There were the Africans who had no idea what I was. And they would say, "What is it?" I was a child. I was like 19. And then there were the Africans who would say, she's a yo, right? What is that? It's like when we like yo in TV raps, like when we say yo, check it, right? And that's how they identified me. But I'm just like, you identified me by a cultural aspect. So even though you don't know how to say Black American, blah 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 blah, you know what I am. But everywhere else I went, they were just like, what is it? Because it's not us. And I was some green-eyed. I mean, just bushy-tailed Pan-Africanist. We're all one. We're all one. And you know what? They were right. I looked around. I didn't look like nobody there. I didn't look like a Kikuyu. I didn't look like a Luyo. I didn't look like some Sijui Somali. I didn't look like anybody there. I stood out like a sore thumb. We would walk through the streets and the whole town would look at me. The people I was there with had to act like bodyguards around my body. And can I just say it was very similar in South Africa? So they decided I was colored, but the colors are mixed. Their racial tier system is, white, Asian, colored, black. They're like, well, what is it? They didn't even they couldn't put it together that I was American unless I told somebody or I opened my mouth. Why? Because they're like just the way we can look at them and be like, nah, you a little small to be a nigga. Like, yeah, it's short black men, but you short and skinny and frail and lanky, and that's not how we do short. It's something about your muscle tone. It's something about your bone. Look at me ranting. Let me let this girl play.
This shit is getting crazier. Y'all, this shit is getting crazier and crazier. Oh my fucking God.
Them people doing anything they can do to get us involved in their bullshit. Why? Because you got FBAs talk about this African bullshit. Leave us out of this African fight. And I'm gonna tell you why you need to leave us out of this African fight. Because contrary to how y'all believe y'all from Africa, the Africans ain't come over here and start no war with none of the people that was over here. The Africans ain't coming for free, none of y'all. And the ones that they wanted to free, they did free. All you gotta do is read. The ones that they thought was them, the ones that they thought came from them, they freed. Would you like me to do a segment? Y'all can go look at slaves.org and see if your people came off a boat. And
When I tell you, Mr. Uppity, rest in peace, my man, the love of my life, I was with him when his mom um sent him his grandfather's name on the Dawes rolls. Sent him his grandfather's name on the Dawes rolls. And he was a Chief Bigfoot. And Mr. Uppity was 6'5", 300 pounds. Like, yeah, you best believe is a Bigfoot. But I'm like, even when we're trying to look for Africa, so many of us end up finding American Aborigine. And it's this whoop-de scoop that you think every Native American is supposed to be Siberian and Asian. There are so many people who came here from China and Korea. I can't make this shit up because they did it to the Polynesian islands as well. They did it to the Micronesian islands as well. When you look at their elders, their ancestors, the pictures of them, big nose, afro, yes, afro, Jackson 5 ass afro, dark skin, big, strong, beautiful bodies. And then they, evolved into this light skin, wavy haired, ambiguous looking thing. But there are natives of America, especially around the American South, Central America, and South America itself. I'm like, these people always look like this. That's why these flyers for selling slaves would say something like, "And now selling six Negro girls and 11 Africans." Why would they need to separate us if we were the same? We've been black. Even if we say we're Native American, Aborigines, because there's documentation. The very first thing you were ever called as an African American, before you were African American, before you were Afro American, before you were black, Negro, colored, you were Aborigine on every document. Look it up, I dare you. Look up Noble Drew Ali in a Moorish science temple, I dare you. Look at the reason why Morocco was the first place to acknowledge America as a country. Shock yourself with the proof. But it's like, you want to claim us so bad. We're our own people. Hell, if that's the case, are we Mexican? Because you know what a Mexican is? They're the only group with the same mix that Black Americans have, although in different portions. Mexico, Mexico, mestizo. Mestizo means mixed. They is European, Spaniard. They is indigenous, both indigenous this is, right? The Asians and, us. And they got African ancestry. There's hella black Mexicans. Google it, YouTube it, TikTok it. There's hella Mexicans that are black as hell. But they're not trying to, well, no, because sometimes the Mexicans do be trying to claim hip hop and whatever else. But it's a lot of claiming a black American culture lately. And I'm like, why, y'all? I never seen an African try to claim salsa in my life. Whole time, salsa is nothing but an interpretation of an African dance. I'm like, I've never seen you people do this. So why are you trying? What is in it for you to claim us and our culture? Why do you want to? What is it, Fat Joe? Why do you want to be an originator of hip hop so bad? You not Sugar Hill Gang. You wasn't even alive. What do you mean? Even Big Pun, before he died, the reason he said, and I'm emotional, excuse me, but before he died, they asked him about the end of the song, the Joe song, Boricua, Morena, Boricua, Morena. And he said, because that is my thanks to the black community. That is my gratitude to the black Americans who came, they let us in, they accepted us. People treated us like crazy. We were struggling on our island, and when we came here, because Big Pun is from the Bronx, that he said that's my gratitude to them. It's a unity chant. And Fat Joe tried to belie it and say, no, it's 50-50. And then when some niggas pulled his card, all of a sudden Puerto Ricans didn't originate hip hop. Oh, okay. All of a sudden, when you're in a room full of black men, and that's why I keep saying, black men, you were never not needed. You were never not needed. Here's the deal, male or female, nobody needs a failure to launch. Nobody needs a ratchet baby mama, and nobody needs an absent baby daddy. Nobody needs you when your contribution is zero. But that is about a specific category of us. We have countless categories of us. And most of us, we're needed. Our intellect is needed. Our history, our knowledge of ourselves is needed in these conversations. If we are not present, these people will take us. Why do you think every time you see a black ass movie, there's a UK African playing you, as if there's not enough actors here to play you? I'll never forgive Cynthia Erivo, not only for the bullshit she said about ghetto black Americans on Twitter, but also, how are you playing Harriet Tubman, nigga? That's a role for Angela Bassett alone. How are you Harriet? when your people sold Harriet. That's why you were clamming up when people kept saying name your tribe, name your tribe, name your tribe. Because you come from a people who sold us, and you come over here and you play us. The same group of people 400 years ago that bought and sold us, between these Africans and white people, are the same group of people. The African Union and the Democratic Party, and fuck the Republicans, motherfuck the Republicans. There's nothing for us over there. But I'm like, the same group of people trying to buy and sell us now. What do you mean? When they made us the sixth region of Africa, we thought that shit was cute. We didn't know it was legally binding. And when black women start talking, these misogynistic ass, pick me ass people, they pile drive us. We need men just like this man here to speak up. We're not asking you to fight in a war. We're not asking you to speak up. You got knowledge of self, brother. You know where you come from. You all about that Alabama. You know how your grandma used to, moan and hum and rub some tonic on you, and some roots, and working roots, and the shut-ins, and the you know where you come from. You know you Gullah Geechee. You know you a Delta nigga. You know who you are. And they're scared of you. Why in this and that? There's a reason why you can look at any country, any country on the continent of Africa, and find these younger men dressed like a bunch of YNs, because they know you pump fear. Dressed like the young niggas, because it's so much swag, it's so much power, it's so much. You are too much. You are too much. And people can't help but imitate. Whole world could talk shit about Jay-Z, and Jay-Z is still all they want to be. The Clips, Malice, Pusha T, it's all they want to be. Nicki Minaj, excuse me, because she was my queen for a while. But every time I see her, she's picking on a black American. If you don't go somewhere and be a happy Trini Asian, picking on SZA, picking on Beyonce, picking on, Doechii, leave the niggas alone. We already let you say the N-word. You ran up an empire. What do you want? Pills and potions? Why do you keep doing this? It's giving diaspora war, Nikki. It's not even giving personal gripe or personal problem. No wonder Lil Wayne went quiet on you. Because he's us. He's us. We have to stop accepting everybody. And that's our black ass problem. And that's something we need to come to terms with. We're accepting of everybody. The way these people grew up being told, do not befriend the African American. They are corrupt. They will corrupt your morals. They are less than you. They are ignorant, uneducated, ghetto, poor. You know what we grew up being taught? We grew up as Pan Africanists. I remember in the 90s as a tiny, tiny child, my uncle would put us in these big yellow Malcolm X shirts. It would have a big X across the front, and the shirt would be yellow, and we would be at something called the Umoja Fest. You know, Umoja is fucking Swahili. Do you know that's a Swahili word? But as Black Americans, we called it the Umoja Fest. We were so black and proud. We were so African medallion, dashiki, kufi wearing ass people. We were taught to welcome you. That African booty scratcher didn't happen outside of kindergarten. Be real with yourself. It didn't happen outside of elementary school. Everything else was us respecting you, us accepting you, and us being down with you. You play your music and we twerk to that shit. You teach us a dance and we do it back. We were taught to accept you and embrace you, and that you were an extended part of us whole time. We were Akata to you. We were Yankees to you. And after all these decades of hatred, you want to unite? You want reparations, Africa? Are you fucking blind? When I tell you these people sold us for shit like mirrors and cigars and wine, sold your life 3 months across the open sea. And you know what? They used to act like, what slave trade? We don't know anything about that. Is the slave trade even real? We don't have anything in our history about that. And today they're like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. We sold you for mirrors. We sold you for alcohol. We sold y'all for beer, cigars, laughing about it, telling us that us differentiating between us and them, like they do to each other, us establishing our boundaries as a nation, as an ethnicity. Like, yeah, whatever white man raped your grandmother, I guess his blood is still in you. Ha ha ha. You're thinking like the colonizer. And I'm like, your anti African Americanness is literally rooted in white supremacy. So don't tell me there's some kind of FBA to white supremacy pipeline, bitch. We're the ones they were trying to kill. We're the assassinated Dr. King. You're not. We're the assassinated Malcolm X, Medgar Evers. You're not. We're the ones who went viral across the earth, whose ancestors said, who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to just, nah. We're the one who produced the Beyonce who said being black. Maybe that's the reason why they always mad and they always have been. Been past them. I know that's the reason why they always mad and they always have been. That's on Black Parade. What are you talking about? Motherland, 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 drip on me. That's Beyonce. We've been paying homage to Africa. Even through your hatred, we still were down. But we were too fucking welcoming. Our friendly asses. Our friendly black asses. We are some of the most. I've been around the world and yeah. Okay? I can't find my baby. I done been around the world and we are some of the friendliest people on the globe. We are some of the most respectful. Now we'll get it in with each other. We'll get it in with each other. But just on I don't know you and I don't have no beef with you. I have no knowledge of you. We're friendly as fuck. We're accepting as hell. We're respectful as hell. You see all the time black people going to Bali and white people going to Bali, and for some reason white people is tearing shit up and we over there learning Thai and partying and being grateful and respectful. The Thai people tell a totally different story than the Jamaicans tell when they say black Americans are the worst people who come to our resorts. They're the worst people to serve. That's not how the Thai people feel. We go in all these other countries and they're not talking about us like that. I wonder what the difference is. But I appreciate this brother and all his dreads for speaking up.
Okay, y'all, there's this whole conversation and discourse going on about you can tell that somebody is African by how they look, right? You can tell the difference between a Black American person and an African person or a Caribbean person because of how they look, right? Now, sometimes that shit do be accurate as fuck, but I'm gonna tell y'all the most accurate way that I can tell that somebody is not Black American by how they talk. Once they start talking, okay? When I be on TikTok watching takes, and it's not about dialect, right? Sounding like a Black American person from Georgia, sounding like a Black American person from Texas, sounding like a Black American person from the suburbs, sounding like a Black American person from New York. No, how they talk, and y'all know what I'm talking about. It's the same way that we can tell, right, with like 95% accuracy, okay, that
Right.
somebody is a white mom biracial. We can see
Nigga!
that they biracial,
I gotta let her finish talking, but I got him.
but we can tell which parent is what.
We can tell by how you act, how you carry yourself, how you speak, AAVE or the lack thereof. We can tell, oh, white mama biracial. We can tell by the way you carry yourself. I would say 8 times out of 10. I won't say 9 times out of 10, but 8 times out of 10, we can, oh, that's a white mama biracial. Hell, some of these black mama biracials, we be walking around just thinking they light skinned because they don't have that. I've never been white enough for the white people or black enough for the black people head ass mentality. We can just tell, and there's nothing wrong with that. They be cute or ugly. It don't matter. They be beautiful or unattractive. We can tell who you are. How are you going to tell people they don't know who us is? Us is us. We know us from them. And you know what? They not like us. That's how we can tell.
by how they talk. Okay. And now we can even tell if it's not just a white mom biracial, we can tell if it's a black mom biracial, but the black mom is foreign. Okay. We can tell that too.
Preach.
Okay. By how they talk.
Preach.
I would not be explaining it because then they're gonna try to change it so that can't nobody clock them no more.
Right.
Okay. But black Americans, tell me if I'm lying.
That's wisdom right there. Stop telling these people how you can tell. Because the moment you say something, they're going to try to, redress themselves in your image. And they're so insulted when we say that, they're cosplaying Black Americans. But I'm like, every day you leave your house, you dressing like us. You so proud of who you are. You're so superior. I dare you to wear them kente cloths outside every day. The Ethiopians who are superior to us, they have beautiful garb, girl. Them Habesha clothing, I love. Them straight ass cotton. It looks like ancient Egyptian clothing. But you walk down the street, you got denim, you got do rags, you got girl, bye, boy, bye.
It's how they talk. It's how they talk. I'll be watching their takes and stuff. Like when these folk that look black give takes on shit. Okay. And they start talking.
They be the most anti-reparation, anti-black. Uh, I mean, if you look at the Black Caucus, I hope. Okay, so I can't say that out loud, but you look at the Black Caucus, the treachery that exists in the Black Caucus when it comes to the Black community. The way the Black Caucus just recently stopped supporting Israel. The way the Black Caucus never pushes legislation for like that benefits anyone in the Black American community. Because when you look at those people, you know what they are? Yeah, they're black and they're Americans, but you know what they are? They're Jamaican, they're Haitian, they're African, they're mostly everything but us. It's a few of us in there, but we're the minorities. And if you've ever seen a Lapeef panel, Lapeef, Lapeef, if you've ever seen them panels and you see how they get up there and it's always one or two black Americans and everybody else is from an island, then people will not let you have the conversation without tell you I'm not a regular black American. I'm from this island. I'm from that island. Like trying to differentiate themselves so bad, but they want in on us so bad. The same boundary you see is the same boundary I see. Stop trying to colonize me. Stop trying to be me. You don't have to be. Own your own shit. It's sufficient. But the way they're trying to absorb and consume us, it's like for fucking what? I dead ass had a Nigerian tell me like we can't talk about reparations without acknowledging the fact that Nigerian would need reparations too because they were our people. I'm like, but you got paid for what you gave away. You got paid for what you sold. You don't get reparations when you get paid for what you sold. How is that even a conversation? How can you even take yourself seriously? And even AOC, what's that lady's name? Ocasio something. Every now and then she feels a little, anti-black to me. But when somebody got her to talk about reparations, she said, "Well, then we're going to have to talk about who is actually black because a lot of Puerto Ricans are black." And I'm like, "Y'all don't say that shit to us, Poppy, Mommy. Y'all don't say that shit to us." The only Puerto Rican who's ever talked to me like that, and hear me out because my mom is from Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. Now our roots are Louisiana, but that's where she was born. Just military kids. But what I'm saying is that I have exposure. I'm not saying my mama Boricua, she's Morena. But I'm just like, Jocelyn Hernandez is the only Puerto Rican who's ever talked to me about, and maybe Princess Nokia, right? I ain't never had another Puerto Rican talk to me about, oh, we so black, we so black. In general, the Latinos don't want anything to do with us. But when the conversation about reparations come up, well, we black, right? I Dominican papi no, it's not the same. It's not the same. But when the conversation about reparations comes up, you want to be black. The black American always wants to be black. The black American ain't never had a choice. The black American, even in the face of ambiguity, racial ambiguity, even in the face of white passing, wants to be black, has pride, has faithfulness. Y'all know in All the Stars when Kendrick Lamar said, I want the credit if I'm winning or I'm losing on my mama. That's the realest shit. I want the credit if I'm winning or I'm losing on my mama. That's the realest shit. We wanted to be black when black was rejected. We wanted to be black when black was not enough. We wanted to be black when black was being hosed and by the fire department and police dogs and KKK. We were still black. We were black through the hardship of black. But now that it's some of the poppin'est shit on earth, nah, nah. I can't accept that.
I'd be like, this person ain't Black American, and then I go check their profile.
By the way, even though I'm upset about it, Alexandria Ocasio, whatever her name is, she's right. Them Puerto Ricans are black as hell, and they would deserve reparations. But my issue, me taking exception to it, is the fact that like everybody dissed us for being black, and we were black the whole time. And it's people jumping on, now that they figure out that our ships don't sink, we don't, we nothing like the Titanic. We don't got a captain like that. Now they want to all aboard. I take issue with that, but it's not that she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. Now it is some white Puerto Ricans, but she wasn't wrong.
And they don't be Black American. They don't be Black American at all. Okay? It's just certain shit. It's how they talk. It's the shit that they say, the way that they formulate thoughts. Okay? The stances that they take on shit that are pertaining to like Black American shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you don't go here. You don't go here. You don't go here. And it's even for like they first gen, second gens, because I know they're gonna be like, because they be thinking they in there with the cosplay and shit. No.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. No.
Mm-hmm.
No. Because their thing is how they try to figure out if we are BA or not. Like if it's a darker skinned person, we just seen them do it with Alondria. They thought Alondria was Nigerian, not just because of how she looked, but they were like how she carried herself, and she's very poised. And
Olandria is from Alabama. Olandria from Love Island in America is from Alabama. And a bunch of Nigerians went on claiming her. You always want to claim us when we're the shit, when we're beautiful, when we're graceful, when we're poised and well spoken. You're not claiming the YNs like that. You're not claiming the dope boys like that. You're not claiming the felons like that. You're not claiming, like, we still claiming the baby mamas. We still claiming everybody on Section 8 and EBT. We don't abandon our people. But you pick and choose. You pick and you choose when you want to be black and when you want to make fun of black. Just stay out. I feel like a old black mama talking about, you can't keep running in and out of my house. You're gonna stay in or you're gonna stay out. Don't be running in and out of my house like this.
et cetera, et cetera. Like they view Black Americans through the lens of stereotypes, and that always comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It always comes out. Why do you think this lady ain't Black American? Because she is poised or sounds educated, or you ain't never been to a suburb in Georgia,
Right.
like you know what I'm talking about. You ain't never been. Whole gang of Black Americans going to preparatory schools in Florida.
Whole gang of wealthy, bougie, been going to college since the early 1900s. Black Americans in Washington, D.C. and Maryland, Delaware. Hell is we talking about? When people say, oh, you're black, you don't talk like you're black, I'm like, well, where are you from? What ghetto do you live in? Because I sound like my people. And I get that it's a little bit of a white girl accent, but what I'm talking about is when I've won awards for extemporaneous speech, right? You can give me a topic and I can usually talk for 10, 15 minutes uninterrupted intelligently about a random topic. And I'm like, I speak like a black American orator. We have an oratory tradition. That's why we freestyle, bitch. That's why we can kick a beat and just keep it going. And everybody got something to say that rhymes, and the rhyming and timing is wonderful. Like that's our culture. It's been passed down for centuries. So when I do my little eloquent dance, it's nigga shit. It really is. Everything that the poetry with which I speak, the things, my diction, my word choice, my command of syntax, all of that is nigga shit. It's always been. Barack Obama gives such great speeches. Show me the black American woman who was writing for that Kenyan, half white American, sixth cousin removed from Bush. This ain't to insult Obama, but it's to say that we are we. We is us. I come from the Church of God in Christ. I come from a pastor who was a whooping preacher. You know them preachers who breathe real deep, and they said on the third day, stay down, but I can't wait. Like I'm like, this is what I come from. We've been out here reading the girls. We've been out here doing the dozens. We've been out here able to talk off the dome. Why do you think these colonizers are so frustrated with us anyway? We got too much mouth. We got lip, and it's gonna hurt your fucking feelings. I saw a black guy. I think it was a black guy who said to the some ICE guy, or some police officer. He said, "Your wife looks like she gives unenthusiastic hand jobs." The way he looked like all of his truth had been told. Oh my god. Let me play this. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting the girl.
Like, so it's shit like that. They don't know certain parts
You better
of black
know it.
Americans exist. That certain parts of black American culture exists. They don't know. We know it exists, just like how they think everything in pertaining to like the African versus BA conversation is rooted in colorism. They don't know that the Gullah Geechee exists, the Delta Mississippians exist, shit
Come
like that.
on.
And they're extremely darker skinned people. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. That's how I be knowing. Okay, y'all, there's this whole conversation and discourse going on about.
You better know it. Come on.
So I just got the tea that Africans are trying to tap into our $1 trillion spending power in our reparations. Thanks to this content creator, she just taught me about the African Union and what their plans are. What is the AU6 region? The African Union, AU, recognizes 5 geographic regions of Africa: North, South, East, West, and Central. The sixth region was created to include the global African diaspora, meaning you and I, as so called Black Americans, whether we agree or not.
Whether we agree or
This
not.
designation has no voting rights, no land, no actual citizenship benefits, but it allowed African leaders to claim us as an economic and political asset on the global stage. What are they doing right now? Creating pan African councils to speak on behalf of Black Americans, claiming us under the AU6 region to get access to grants, global funding, and future reparations, pushing global campaigns for African unity, but not including our demands, history, or sovereignty, meeting with U.S. leaders to form economic pipelines straight from our communities to Africa.
I need y'all to understand that there are no black Americans at the table. It's two Nigerians that run the African Union, and the closest leader Africa has ever had to Malcolm X or their own Muammar Gaddafi is Ibrahim Traore, and he hates the African Union. The most honest, the most The man who walks and works with the most integrity that we know of in all of continental Africa has disavowed you. So what the fuck are we supposed to think of you? That man is liberating Burkina Faso over and over and over again, 6 times over and then some more. Their GDP is way up, about millions, way up, way up, because of him and his honesty. And he hates the AU. Say less. And you look at it, these people speak on our behalf. We got no seats. We got no seats at the table. We got no seats, no rights, no voice. But they're literally working with Joe Biden and with the Democratic Party to, like they made the shit legit. It's legal. What the hell? We didn't even vote on this. They just dubbed us. And we thought it was sweet because we're sweet ass people. People don't give Black Americans enough credit. You think because a Black American will cuss you out and get into a fight? Black Americans are some of the most sensitive, soft hearted, hopeful, believer ass human beings. And we keep getting bopped over the head. Civil rights movement, we carried everybody on our back. And you can barely talk Black now in the civil rights movement. If you're not talking gay, you're not talking today. You can't say a damn thing about niggas and our rights and race. In the wokest part of the country, in the bluest states. I live in a blue state. I'm here. Born and raised. I know. This shit is scary. Why are you pulling from me? Here's what I have to say. If the African Union, imagine they got us in a deal like a record deal. They have us in a deal like a 360 deal. Like him and him gonna take your ass. Him and him are all contracted to your sphincter, and we all gonna get it. Them 360 deal, them artists be so excited to sign to, thinking they're doing something with $2 million. Whole time they leave in debt. They finish their CD, their LP, their album in debt. 2 million where? When everybody got their hands in your pot. Did you read your contract? Because we're only reading this thing now. This has been done. This is a decade in the making. Over a decade in the making. Nothing in the contract for us. I remember working for a woman who she wrote up a contract, and I was just like, who makes a contract where there's nothing in the contract for the signee? It doesn't make any sense. Everything in this contract is about you, and there's nothing in here about me or my rights. These people they just want to bop you. They don't care. They don't have Black American hearts beating in their chest. They don't have Big Mama's heart beating in their chest. It's about lineage. It's about soul. It's about who we've become over centuries. And they're really not like us. Everybody wants to talk about how Kendrick Lamar, for example, like he's not the one you want to fight with, but on any other level, he's cute as hell. All over TikTok, they're like, oh, he's such a cutie patootie because he has a smile of a child. There's a righteousness in him that reflects itself as innocence. Not an innocent man, but there's a righteousness in him that reflects itself as innocent, and his eyes glow, and he has these big cheeky smiles, and some woman pinched his cheeks and he fell out laughing. He thought it was the cutest thing. You would think the way Kendrick Lamar talks to Drake that he would have dragged that woman. Sweetest, softest, cutest. But you step too much to the left and that'll be your last breath. So I'm like this. Sell us Kenya. Sell us all of Kenya. Sell us Kenya. Right? Kenya woman bought an Essence. She purchased Essence. Sell us Kenya. Now, we're not going to remove the natives from the land. But we run that shit. We run the capital. We run all the cities, counties, provinces. Give us Kenya. If it's really about a deal, if it's really, because I'm telling you right now, there's no mutual benefit. Now, I don't want to be, I'm sorry. I don't want to, if I was going to take an African country, I would not take anything on the West Coast. A lot of Black Americans, they think they're from, Nigeria and Lagos and whatever, but like we were dragged and kidnapped all up and through the continent and dragged out to the West Coast to be sold. There was a slave trade on the west coast of Africa and a slave trade on the east coast of Africa. And I went to Zanzibar where they would take during the East African Arab slave trade. I sat right up under the shade of a slave castle. I sat right on the shores that people were dragged off of, and they never saw Africa again. There's a big ass restaurant with food I could barely eat, and I don't know why I couldn't eat because I'm a big back. And some big ass cat that looked like the ancestor of a house cat with sharp ass teeth meowing at me like, feed me, bitch. I sure did. You can punk me out this plate if you want to. It's show world, baby. But no, sell us Kenya. I don't want Tanzania. I don't want Zanzibar. I don't want none of North Africa. I don't want none of the Horn of Africa, because people will call Ethiopia and Somalia East Africa, but really East Africa is more Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Zanzibar. The Horn of Africa, Horner Africans themselves, they have their own look, their own genetic pool, their own people, and they're very much still there. And it's not that Kenyans are not, but I'm just like, I trust what a Black American could do with the Serengeti. I trust what a Black American could do with the world's most worthy safari. I trust what a Black American can do and can ship with all that ocean coastline access to China, who has partnered with us since Malcolm X. I trust what we can do with Kenya. So if we the African Union, we gonna need an African state, brother. So give up Kenya. Maybe you can have some money. We get to direct. We get full autonomy, right? Because this six province is like basically there's an Africa in America. I'm like, well, we need an America in Africa. How about that? Y'all want to gain everything and not give up shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. How do you do business like that?
African businesses and political elites. So why are they talking about reparations? Because if Black Americans win reparations, African institutions want to sit at the table as representatives of the African diaspora, claim partnership statuses in any international reparation funds, direct some of the resources to Africa instead of keeping it in U.S. communities. What do they want to do with the money?
So real quick, I want to tell you guys about Somalia against Pan Africanism. Um, when I finally got Pan Africanism out of my body, it was because of a Somali girl that I knew. Now, this isn't her, but I'm just saying she was the one who sat me down and was like, Chocolate, that's my government, right? Not uppity. She was like, Chocolate, we don't even deserve you. We don't even deserve the Pan Africanism of Black Americans because we're not even Pan ourselves. And that's why in every video, I'm like, put an Ethiopian and a Somali in the same room and see what happens. Put 16 of these and 16 of those in the same room and look what happens. But they want to benefit from our Pan Africanism because they think we're stupid. And I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. You African, you African. I'm like, you don't even have a heart for your own people, Nigeria. We see how y'all do. We see a bunch of millionaires and one actual billionaire and some kids walking to school 3 miles barefoot, eating dirt cookies with kwashiorkor bellies with parasites in their big ass bellies and flies in their eyes. But you want to unite with us? Unite with you. Unite with you. Prove that the Wolof and the Hausa and the Yoruba can work together in love. and in acceptance and in oneness before you come after my people. But you see that we have the most, and here's the deal, because the most natural sixth region of Africa would be all the Africans in the UK. But they don't have the Black American spending power. They don't have it. We are the wealthiest people of African descent on the globe. So I'm like, this ain't about love. This is about a scheme and a scam. This is about digging after our pockets. You want Beyonce and you want Jay-Z and you want all these people to invest in you so bad. Akon ran the scam first, and there's nothing where Akon said that city was going to be his little futuristic city in Ghana, telling Black Americans to repatriate to Ghana. And Ghana was like, hey, we'll give you free citizenship. Hey, all them lands, including the ones that Black Americans paid for, got snatched back by the government. Snatched back. You've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, and run amok by people you share a skin color with. And that's why we teach people in anthropology and sociology that race is a social construction. It damn near don't exist. It does, but it doesn't. Ethnicity and nationality are the things that matter. That is how you can tell a group is a group. People are like, oh, these Africans sold each other. I'm like, baby, calling that the continent a bunch of Africans is a European thing. They didn't see each other as all black or all African. They saw you as a rival tribe and them as their own tribe. They didn't see it as selling their own people. They saw it as, selling off, the good for nothings, don't want you, whatever. Just like how, what is it, Britain? Australia was founded for the whites as a prison. It was supposed to be a forever prison, an open air prison, the worst of the worst of our people. Let's send them to Australia. Let's send them down under. Let's send them to the outback. And all them damn animals that look like God's rough drafts and first drafts of some shit, living through that and fighting through that. That's how they established Australia. And you know what they did? I mean, because they did the same thing on the Tasmania Island, not to be confused with Tanzania. There's not a single Tasmanian that exists anymore. They're all dead, wiped from the earth, not by a plague, not by a natural disaster, but by the hands of white people. That's another thing that gets me about the brothers. I'm like, brother, you are needed in so many conversations. I need you to be more mad at this white man than at this black woman. Because ultimately we have no heaven or hell to put you in. We don't have that kind of control over your life. They do. They do. Police brutality, they do. False imprisonment, false arrest, they do. But I learned from a Somali to drop my Pan Africanism. And it's one of the best, I learned a lot from Somalis, but it's one of the best lessons I've ever learned. Because I was so stupid for so long. And every time I would have a negative interaction with some African person telling me you don't have a culture, and I bet my mom can cook better than you because she can cook pizza and our native foods, blah, blah, blah. My mom is better than your mom. My culture is better than your culture, blah, 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 blah. And y'all know, if you've ever seen me for any amount of time, y'all know how I get about my mom. But just shit they would automatically assume like we were dirt. It was crazy. It's like, nah, the Pan African how? Ethiopians and Eritreans, we can barely get y'all in the same room without fighting. United how? So yeah, Beyonce is definitely delineating, and I love it because she's doing it in such a respectful way. Beyonce has so many songs that pay homage to Africa. They'll never take my power, my power, my power. I'm a grown woman. I can do whatever I want. And both of these songs, you have women speaking in just whatever their native language is, purely on the track. She had that Black is King album. So much African influence. So many beautiful, a diverse array. I hope y'all can't hear that. A diverse array of African people. So it's like respect to you, acknowledgement of you, but this is us. My daddy, Alabama, mama, Louisiana. You mix that Negro with that Creole, make a Texas Bama. Like I've acknowledged you and respected you, but this is who I am. I don't have a problem with you being the root. I don't have a problem with you being a distant root, but this is my fruit and this is my tree. These leaves are mine. What falls from it is mine. We made this. This is the fruit of our labor. We were cut off. Remember, everybody wants to own us. I'm like, the last Africans we belonged to were sold. We don't have a single ancestor on the African continent. We don't have a single father or mother. They were sold. They're gone. Many of them sold as children before they had any kids. Cut off. So what do you want from us? We are kind enough and spiritual enough to sing about you from 400 years ago. And so many different Beyonce songs. She has that Mood Forever, My Baby Father, Bloodline Rwanda. Like just big up. We have nothing against the continent, but we are us just like you are you. And here's the kicker. They never do this to Jamaicans and Haitians. They let the Jamaican be the Jamaican. They don't say, no, respect your roots. You are us. We are you. You don't have a culture outside of us. They're just like us. They're a group of people who are Aborigine, colonizer, white influence, and an indigenous island race. Like that, like that's their mix. That's who they are. And the difference between me, them, and a Dominican is a fucking boat stop. You got dropped off over here, it's like riding a bus. You got all them kids on a bus, and it's like 16 bus stops. You ever been on the bus last and seen everybody get off they stop? But what? Everybody's coming from the same school. But you never pull that shit with them. You only pull it with us. Why? Why are you after our identity? If you have so much pride and yours is sufficient.
Attract investments into African economies, not Black American communities. They want us as Black Americans to buy land in Africa, invest in African tech startups, agriculture, tourism, and real estate, and fund African government projects and infrastructure. And we don't get anything out the deal. Nothing.
I went to Tamara because we're talking about the song we sing for new membership in the Church of God in Christ. There's a line, no, you can't join in. You got to be born in. This is the Church of God in Christ. Now you see that born in part, and people are like, what? I got to be born Kojic? Well, my family's Baptist. My family is First Day and Me. Read between the lines, how they're talking about lineage. Bishop Mason was also a root worker, and his sister Ruth Mason was the root worker who taught Zora Neale Hurston how to work a root and how to really get into hoodoo. And so much of hoodoo is not, it's not witchcraft. It's not witchcraft. There's so much of hoodoo that exists in the Kojic church today. There's so much of whoop and praying and conjure and stomping your feet, giving a stump clap, and ushering in the ancestors and the Holy Spirit. Born in is talking about your lineage. It's talking about your Black Americanness. It's talking about you come from the same root. You are a fruit of this. You're a fruit of the same tree. Now this song is over 100 years old, you guys. This song we sing today, it's over 100 years old. But it's about birthright. There are so many people online. Well, I practice hoodoo. I'm not African American. Yeah, you hear about the white girl who practiced and tried to conjure Papa Legba and ended up getting met by the Baron of the Cemetery, or Boan Semdi, Baron Semeti, and she died. because you can't join in. You have to be born in. And I'm just saying, to whatever Africans that be, I'm like, this is lineage. You don't belong to the people of that built America. You know you don't. You know those are not your forefathers. So why are you trying to absorb our identity? You know what the hell is meant by Black American. Well, we are all black and we are all American. You know what is meant by the word. You know that we had some trouble with Jesse Jackson or whatever with, you know, reinventing us and naming us new names. You know that's been a problem, but you know what is meant by the term. You no, you can't join in. You got to be born in. The blood and bone, the blood and stone, the things our ancestors went through that we have epigenetic memory of, it's literally in our DNA. Hell, Kendrick Lamar, I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Got war and peace inside my DNA. It's crazy the way these people try to gaslight. Now Akon is back in the USA and didn't pay people their money back. Period. That's exactly what Akon did. Is what the African Union is trying to do. What he did, the same scam he ran, talking about some fucking unity, is the same thing the African Union is trying to do with us now, but without giving or promising us anything. Those African Americans who believed in Akon and wanted to go back to Africa, they got bopped over the fucking head. And where are they now, huh? Somewhere homeless, somewhere on Section 8, somewhere bankrupt. Where are they now? The people who believed in this man and trusted this man and gone and straight snatched the land back. Nah, you ain't doing enough with this. You ain't even paying on it correctly. Give me that back. The state reabsorbed the land. Got taken from any African American who paid for something there. And they couldn't do a damn thing about it. It's a scam. These people, I'm not saying all Africans are like this, clearly, but the majority of these people don't. They admire things about us, sure, but like you, I mean, the way we get called the N word in every language. Why does every language have a damn N word equivalent? What the hell? My good six, my good sis. Uh, Beyonce heard that anti-BA sentiment in her album is a response to the diaspora in a subliminal way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Beyonce be out in these internet streets. Beyonce is so aware. Beyonce be out here scrolling herself. That's why Mama Tina was talking about some very mindful, very demure. Like they paying attention. They're not gonna get ratchet online. They're not gonna get in back and forth like a Nicki Minaj or something like that. But they're paying attention, and they hear that stuff. And also with Cowboy Carter, she's like, "Oh, and by the way, this my flag. The American flag didn't exist until a white woman, her two daughters, and a little black girl slave sewed that thing together. That's why she's on one of her concert tour t-shirts, covered in blood, sewing the flag. Like, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all, but this is who the fuck we are. This is why Juneteenth was a big deal and she did it in Paris and she did nothing for July 4th. Beyonce is a whole ass nigga. And people get it so fucking confused. She's filled with pride in her blackness. And I don't know how people can't see it. She played the game in her younger years and did her little Marilyn Monroe lookalike thing. But by the time she got big enough, she was like surprised. That's why SNL had that skit where they said, "Oh my God, Beyonce's black." She played by the rules. And then when she became the rule maker, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm dark skinned. I'm dark brown, dark skin, light skin, beige, fluorescent beige, bitch. I'm black. Abaya, I'm from Toronto area, and there's no African and Caribbean unity here. We have shed blood against each other in Toronto and London. That's that's not surprising. That's not surprising. The only thing I've ever seen African and Caribbean people unite about is dragging Black Americans for having no culture and being stupid and lost and whatever. That's the only thing I've ever seen them unite about. Now, Bob Marley and the Rastafari, they're very, Ethiopia oriented. So I can say that, but to show you right on. And I'm sorry. African and Caribbean unity in US is a marriage of misery. Wallahi it is. Period. Real Beyonce fans know that before Crazy in Love, she enjoyed wearing her natural hair. Exactly. Beyonce kept some braids. Kept some braids in her head. Like for what? How you doing, honey, baby? Big ass afro on Work It Out. Hello. Hello. Are you okay, B? Just so proud. I mean, that's my girl. That's my girl. Let me finish this.
We have to separate ourselves from the Africans. We have to stop calling ourselves African American and Black, and we got to stop spending our money in their businesses. Amaru Book Club has started a petition. This petition is to get Black and African American removed from the census and to get our own correct classification on the census. We need in between 10 and 50K signatures. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Please.
And people get mad about this, and even some Black Americans get mad about this who identify as African American because the Black American is dead ass a reclassified original American. People are like, oh, you come from Africa. And even your ancestors who are American Aborigines, they come from Africa. I'm like, yeah, but you know who else? You know who else? Fijians. Why aren't you yelling at the Fijians about being African? Huh? Why aren't you yelling at Fiji and telling them to respect you see Fijians as Fijians. You only want to incorporate us. You only want to absorb us. There's a reason they call us Indians. Check out the Sentinel Indians. They are the indigenous of India. And as a Haitian, I trace my genealogy. Okay, so that's somebody commenting on something that I commented. But this is who we really are. We classified original American. I said this earlier, I'll say it again. These people don't read Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. These people have no concept of the Olmecs. These people have no concept of the book They Came Before Columbus. They have no concept of the book Lies My Teacher Told Me. They have no knowledge of Howard Zinn and the American history that he taught in a book. They have no idea who we really are. They think 400 years is all we have in this country. And even if it was, it's a lot. But I'm like, we've been here. Yes, the people who came here first were, I don't know, some say Egyptian, some say West African. And it's funny because Black Americans tend to find Egyptian and West African in their DNA test results. But it's like our pyramids. I pray to God I don't hurt anybody's feelings with this. I said, I pray I don't. Our pyramids are older than the pyramids of Giza. Our mounds and our pyramids, the pyramids that exist in Machu Picchu, the all the pyramids in North and South America have been carbon dated to be older than the pyramids in Egypt. Now, for me, that doesn't sound like it doesn't sound right or wrong. It sounds like something to be continued because personally, I believe in the Anunnaki, which should make the oldest pyramids be in Iran, which used to be Mesopotamia, which used to be Sumer, which used to be, just a while away. They built that big Tower of Babylon. But I'm just saying it's a lot of shit in history that's really fucked up and really taught because white people had the power to tell you anything that they wanted. The Somali rapper Kanan, he says in a song, which is a translation of the Somali proverb, until the lion learns to speak, the tales of hunting will be weak. Until the lion learns to speak, the tales of hunting will be weak. What does that mean? That lion can't tell its own motherfucking story. So that white man who took his bow and arrow and his big ass sawed-off shotgun and shot that lion and took a fucking picture by it, bounty hunting. Oh my God, you killed a lion. You were so brave. Yeah, and the lion was roaring at me and he was coming for me. And I knew that it could only be me and him. And I get that lion a voice so he could say, this hoe ass coward hid behind a rock the whole time. I didn't even know he was there to face off with him. I didn't even know his white ass was there, hiding behind a big ass rock and some trees. Punk ass, coward ass, never faced me ass, even with that big ass, badass gun. Because that would be the authentic story. But who gets to tell the story? That's why they call it history. That's why my nigga Beyonce said, I can't forget my his story. It's her story. Motherland drift on me. Motherland, motherland drift on me. Like, there's agendas with white supremacy. There's agendas with patriarchy. And we find out so many times that what we read in American history books is inaccurate. And so much documentation exists today to show you that Black Americans are largely Aborigines. We are the first people to pop up from this land. We're descendants of Olmecs. There's a paper genocide on African Americans that nobody wants to talk about. There's a reason we were called African American, Afro American, Negro, Negro with a capital N and a lowercase n, colored, and and whatever else. The first thing we were ever called was Aborigines. The second things we were ever called were Indians. I mean, I can show you. Let me just Google Moorish legal monthly celebration. No, 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 that's not what I'm looking for. The Moroccan flag was raised in front of City Hall July 15th to celebrate Moroccan Americans. It's not what I'm looking for. Uh, Moorish, Aboriginal American. The Moroccan American Treaty of Peace and Friendship. It's not what I'm looking for. One primary tenet of the Moorish Science Temple is the belief that African Americans are of Moorish descent, especially from the Moroccan Empire. Listen, Moor, according to what I've studied, Moor means navigator. Moor means navigator. And allegedly, the first people to navigate to these America, fuck the United States, it didn't exist. The first people to get to North and South America were big black Africans. And allegedly, one of them was Abu Bakari, the brother of Mensa Musa. Mensa Musa is not a fictional character. That was the richest person that ever lived on earth. That man had so much gold that he destabilized the currency of Egypt by paying for things in gold for over 100 years. Just inflation, and they couldn't bounce back for a century after he visited once. Allegedly, Mensa went to the America. The Mensa just means king. Musa is Moses in Arabic. So clearly Muslim people. So you wonder why these are Moors, whatever. And mind you, the Moors ruled Spain before these Queen Elizabeth ass Queen Rebecca, Queen Alexandria asked people, Moors ruled Spain for like 900 years, all right? Big, black, sexy ass, Berber ass, African ass men. Just so we're clear. I remember getting into an argument with a white woman on Facebook, which is why I'm not on Facebook anymore. It's the most miserable place on earth. And she said Berbers may have been tan, but they were not black. I was like, bitch, point to Berbera on a map, you dumb whore. Kanon has in his song, Somali rapper, he's talking, the song is called Sobeh, and it's like basically like talking to the gunmen and the people who are, you know, occupying in a way, you know, roadblocks and whatnot Somalia, like telling them to leave. Sobah means get out. So he's talking about his ancestral lands, and he's like, Barere, Basaso, no, then Barere, Io Berbera, no, Hargeisa, Basaso, Barere, Io Berbera. My skin needs to feel the heat and the sun. I'm tired of the cold, goddamn so bad. But I'm just like, the only place on earth that you know that is called Berber, because if you look at Berbera, the spelling, it's literally Berbera. And I'm like, these are black ass mofos. Cushitic black ass, just ancient DNA here before you ass mofos. I had some Ethiopian talking about, no, we have Arab ancestry. I was like, bitch, the Arabs didn't create you, you created them. What the fuck? What kind of anti black are you? What kind of mind raped, mind fucked, mentally molested person are you? They didn't make you. You existed first. Ah. You guys see how exasperated? Your statement, the lion or me, what do they say about our people now, me or them? Hmm. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that. Did y'all get that? Did y'all get the point? Because I'm if you don't tell your story, somebody else will. And they will tell you exactly how they will tell it exactly how they want to. Truth be damned. I'm trying to find there is a celebration in every state signed by every governor each year for Moorish American Aborigines, and it's legal. That's the documentation I was trying to find, but sometimes I struggle with what exactly to Google. Uh, Share screen because it's been so long since I've accessed these things. Berbera, that's in Somalia for anybody wondering. Um, Aborigine Moorish le- legal acknowledgement. Is that the right thing to type? So I'll read this really quick, but Aboriginal and Moorish legal acknowledgement can be explored in two distinct contexts: Moorish sovereign citizens and Aboriginal identity. Some individuals identifying as Moorish sovereign citizens claim Aboriginal status based on the idea that they were indigenous to the Americas, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. They may cite treaties and pseudo historical narratives to assert their sovereign. Okay, so it's not pseudo, but go ever. Go ever, go on. Uh, what am I looking for? I won't waste your time, but when I pull up the documents that I'm looking for, like there's one in every state. I think it's January where it's signed every year, some kind of a acknowledgement of Aboriginal Moorish heritage. And Noble Drew Ali had basically gotten these things certified. He worked with Saudi Arabia and Morocco to certify the identity of Black Americans. And all that means is that we've been here for thousands of years. We've been here. It's not that we don't have that 400-year ago African ancestry, is that we also have ancestry that predates that. Where we are many groups. We're really the biggest mutt there is. We come from so many different people groups. We really do. I think that's why we have global appeal. I think that's why we write the songs that the whole world sings. I think there's something to that. That might be why it's so easy for people to identify with us. Studying is supposed to enable Blacks to gain the government's recognition and respect as full citizens. Moorish National Website, Moorish American Supreme Court. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Uh, what are Moors called in the USA? United States of America defended United States Supreme Court. Yeah, I'll just come back with this. I might post it on my wall. I don't want to. It's been 2 hours. I don't want to keep you guys here, hold you hostage. So thank you for watching. And I'll leave that comment up for everybody to ponder on. I mean, basically, we are the lion in the story. We are the lions that could not speak. We're the lion in the story.